Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Education Platform. Now, before we begin with today's lesson, I'm going to be reading you a verse which is taken from which is taken from Romans chapter 12, verse 12, and it states that rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing continuing instant in prayer, the word of the Lord. Now, moving on with our first lesson, which is about punctuations. Now, punctuations are the symbols we used in a sentence. Now, for example, we use a question mark when a question is being asked. We use a semicolon to we use a semicolon to in quotes listing or time. A dash, when you use a dash, is in any definition of a word or phrase. An exclamation mark is a symbol that is used to show emotional or strong feeling. Now, with our second lesson, declarative, imperative, interrogative, and exclamatory. Now, declarative is a sentence that makes a statement or provides a fact and offers an explanation or conveys information. Imperative gives a command, demand, or instructions directly to an audience. Interrogative is a type of sentence that asks a question, and exclamatory is a sentence that gives off an emotion or strong feeling. Now, now our third lesson are the five basic elements of life, which are fire, water, earth, and the air. Now, let's start with air. Now, all living things on this planet needs air, such as animals, plants, and us humans. Now, water, every living thing needs a drinking source. On Earth, everyone needs Earth because it provides a lot of nutrients and a lot of healthy diets. Now, next is the Haitian Revolution, the fourth lesson. The Haitian Revolution was the series of conflicts between 1791 and 1804 and was overthrow of the French regime in Haiti by the Africans and their descendants who had been enslaved by the French and the establishments of an independent country founded and governed by former slaves. Now, the fifth lesson is the Brown versus Board of Education. It was a landmark decision of the U.S. Supreme Court in which the court ruled that U.S. state laws establish racial segregation in public schools and are unconstitutional even if the segregated schools otherwise are equal in equality. Now, next lesson is in El Ocupancias, which means the occupations in Spanish. Now, some of the occupations are listed. El doctoro, or la doctora, is the doctor. El profesoro, or profesora, the teacher. El bombero, or la bombera, the firefighter. El chef, or la chef, the chef. And el policio, or la policia, the police. Now, next is the 700 islands in the Bahamas. There are 700 islands in the Bahamas, which are Grand Bahama, Abaco, Andros, Great Exuma, New Providence, Great Inagua, Little Inagua, Acklins, Marijuana, Salmon Cay, and Berry Islands. Now, next, now, some of the islands produce some fruit sources that are sometimes shipped to different countries, states, or continents. Eleuthera gives us the fruit source of pineapples. Great Exuma give us the food source of limes. Now, our next lesson is about context clues. Context clues is what a reader uses to understand the meanings of new familiar words. Now, our ninth lesson is about imagery. Imagery is a visual description or figure of language, especially in a literary work. Example: your singing is beautiful than flowers in spring. And the word and the word then is giving a visual description of of singing unto flowers in spring. Now, last is safety signs. Now, safety signs are what we use to make sure that we make sure that we don't get hurt, harm harm anyone or anyone else. And we use safety signs to make sure we maintain a good community. Now, some of the safety signs you might see on a fence or on a road, such as if you use radioactive sign, a radioactive or a poisonous sign. If you see a skull with two bones, it means, or on a label of any jar or bottle, that means it's poisonous. If you for explosion, if you see a ball and you see a lot of smoke lines, that means it's explosive. Now, if you see a green sign, that means it's safe. If you see a red sign, that means danger. If you see a yellow sign, that means hazardous, such as like a traffic light. Green means go, red means stop, and yellow means to slow down. Now, let me give you a word to advice. Yeah. Now, we are God. Now, now, some people know that we are God's people. Are God's people. The Lord is our Father. We are His children. Always obey Him because He is wise and merciful to His people. Now, thank you all for joining this live stream, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.